Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Saladino and I am the Executive Director at the Fulton County Historical Society in Gloversville, New York. Welcome to my kitchen and welcome to our first episode of Time Travel Kitchen. There are over a dozen holidays between October and December, ranging from religious to secular and celebrated around the world. But one of the common threads that runs through each and every one is food. Special holiday and seasonal dishes passed down through the generations help connect us to our ancestors. My great-grandmother, Irene, learned to make Slovak cookies from her mother-in-law, my great-great-grandmother, who didn't speak English. These cookies remain some of my family's favorite holiday treats today, and we make them every year. Making them and eating them help bring us closer to the ones we love and those we've never even met. Gelatin in food can be dated back to 10th century Baghdad, where an early cookbook included a recipe for fish aspic. The English and French embraced gelatin through the centuries, especially the French government, who viewed it as a cheap, accessible protein for the poor. Despite this, jellied dishes were the food of the wealthy. Creating gelatin involved the long and difficult process of rendering collagen from animal bones and then clarifying it. Few home cooks bothered. In the American colonies, the elites adapted European customs to their own tastes. Here, the size of a household staff was a status symbol. Elaborate molded centerpieces were created for dinner parties and gatherings and put wealth on display. Cooks, both free and enslaved, were the ones completing the arduous process of making gelatin for these fancy recipes. Most of us recognize the popularity of gelatin in the mid-20th century, especially the 1950s. Branded cookbooks were popular freebies, and Knox Gelatin of Johnstown was no exception. Rose Knox developed dozens of recipes and published them to help promote the product. Sometimes this meant brands tried to shoehorn their products into recipes where they didn't really belong. For example, tomato soup would be easier to include in a savory molded dish, but not when it came to dessert. For more information on Knox Gelatin and a social history of gelatin in food, please check out the links in the description box. Let's get to this recipe. To make the Knox Christmas Pie, you will need 1 envelope of plain Knox gelatin, of course, a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, separated, a pinch of salt, 2 large eggs, separated, 1 1/4 cup of evaporated milk, a 1/2 teaspoon of peppermint extract, and a drop or 2 of green food coloring, and a chocolate graham cracker crust. You can make your own, but I'm making this even easier for myself and using store-bought. And they didn't have chocolate graham cracker, so I'm actually using an Oreo pie crust. For the filling, combine 1/4 cup of the sugar, your gelatin, and a pinch of salt in a medium saucepan. Beat together the egg yolks and evaporated milk. Place the saucepan over low heat and add the yolk and milk mixture, stirring constantly until the gelatin is dissolved and thickened slightly. This takes about 5 to 6 minutes, and you want to be careful that you don't actually cook your egg yolks. Once thickened, remove from the heat and stir in your mint extract. Pop the mixture into the fridge to thicken a little bit more. You want it of the consistency so that when you drop the mixture from a spoon, it creates a little bit of a mound. Start beating your egg whites and gradually add the remaining 1/4 cup of sugar a little bit at a time. Beat egg whites until stiff. Once your gelatin mixture has cooled enough to reach an almost custard-like consistency, begin gently folding in the egg whites. Add green food coloring to your desired shade. You can make it as dark or as light green as you like. Once you've reached your desired shade of green, pour the mixture into your pie shell. Chill at least 4 hours or until firm. Garnish with a wreath of whipped cream. You can do homemade or store-bought, and you can get fancy with a piping bag, or you can make it look extra homemade like I'm doing here by just using a mini spatula. You can also add nuts and cherries. And there you have it, a simple yet beautiful holiday dessert from Rose Knox's 1934 cookbook, Food Economy. Did you try this recipe? Post your photos on our Facebook page or tag us on Instagram. You can find all of our social media information in the description of this video. Thanks for joining us for our first installment of Time Travel Kitchen. See you next time!